What's going on, everyone? JP here from Truth Probe, and I am starting a brand new channel. Now, I have created other YouTube channels in the past, but it just feels like I've been sitting on the sideline just a little bit too long. I've been listening every day, probably, to what's going on with Charlie Kirk, that whole situation. And I think it's just time I become part of the conversation. It seems like the people that really want this to come out a certain way, with lots and lots of followers, Benny Johnson, Megyn Kelly, they're just too close to it. They're too close to him, to the situation, and it seems like they want this to come out a certain way. Anybody that's really looking into this just wants the truth. They just want to find out what happened. I don't think anybody's saying that Tyler Robinson is not guilty at all. He's definitely guilty of doing something. He was involved somehow. And it's just... it's just a matter of finding out what he did to be involved. It just seems like there's a lot of other things going on and a lot of things that just don't make sense. And for people to come out and say, oh, we saw with our own eyes 4K, a close-up of him pulling the trigger, that's just not true. They saw the same grainy image of somebody pulling a trigger, or somebody in the prone position. It might have looked like they did something, but you can't tell. You can't link the two. And his DNA on the gun is not convincing to anyone. If you want to know what normal, average, everyday JPs are thinking, like me, we're thinking it doesn't add up. It doesn't look right, and it looks like somebody's trying to push an agenda on us, or a narrative. And that's the problem. So everyone's been talking about Andrew Kolvet. He came out, made a video, and he's now asking questions. Well, that's great. I'm glad. But is this just a one-time thing where he put out a video and we'll never hear another word about it? Or does he really want to know what happened? Because I think we do. So let me just play this, because, and I know you've probably seen this already, but I'm going to play it for you anyway. Just the first question or two, not all. He asked, I think, 5 questions. But here's Andrew asking his question.
I feel like I've been dealing with so many crazy accusations, either leveled at Erica or myself or the organization or whatever, anything except for Tyler Robinson in this process, that I haven't gotten a chance to articulate clearly what questions I still have outstanding that I want answers to. So here we go. Who knew what when? That's right. There is a lot of indication online that other people knew something was going to happen that day on September 10th. They posted on social media about it in really, really creepy ways. And none of those people have been held accountable. And I want to know why. And what did they know and when? Another question I want to know the answer to is, was Lance Twiggs more involved than we currently know, right? We know that he's been given limited immunity for his testimony. It's going to be video testimony in the preliminary hearing. But how much did he know? And how much did he radicalize Tyler Robinson? It seems, and I encourage everybody to go check it out, there's a Turkey Tom YouTube video where one of their friends that would hang out with them in their apartment seems to indicate that it was a really manic, disassociative, sort of morally corrupt, bankrupt environment that Tyler Robinson was living in, and Lance Twiggs seems to be the source for a lot of that. So did Tyler Robinson just do this crazy thing all on his own, or did Lance Twiggs put him up to it? Was he a co-conspirator?
Okay, so I'll stop there. I mean, that's 2 questions. This whole Turkey Tom thing, that I've seen a few people put this out now. This is really old. People have dissected it and gone through it and talked about it a long time ago. So it's a little late to be asking about that. I don't know where that's coming from. It almost seems a little performative or coordinated to see so many influencers bring this up. So I just don't know. I hope it's not performative. I hope you really do want to get to the bottom of this. But let me try to help you. Let me help you to point you in the right direction. If you really are looking for answers, Andrew, I'm going to point you, give you some options and point you in the right direction of some places that you might start with. And the first person or place that I would start with to see if this was a coordinated effort was this guy right here, George Zinn. That's crazy what he did, where he just dropped his pants and started, as soon as it happened, he drops his pants, he starts causing a scene, and they have to drag him out of there. All the resources that they could have been using to hunt the person down on campus or the people, and they had to deal with this. This is ridiculous. Now, I understand he's now serving time or something, and he, was involved in lots of very bad things. But this is something worth exploring for sure. If you want to know who knew what and when, as you say, Andrew, this is a good place to start. Another place you could start is with this guy, Destiny.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature.
Okay, that says a lot. Here's another thing. This is a phone call that he took live on while he was streaming.
Wow, what's up? I'm streaming, by the way.
This is, did you see what happened?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, dude, Charlie's gonna be dead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's already dead. Yeah.
Dude, we are so.
By we, you mean we as a country right now, the United States and the current.
That the party, but mostly
also, yes, wait. Probably I think that we're super. I agree. Hold on, wait. I'll text you on Discord. I don't understand anything crazy that's gonna ruin her.
And he hangs up on her. That's really weird. All these people. Let's just say for a second that it was a coordinated effort, that there were more than one person involved. Those people, for the longest time, had just been. I'm sure they were afraid in the beginning. But then, when the FBI never showed up and nobody ever asked any questions, then they were probably like, wow, we're home free. Because you hear things like Tyler Robinson, after the event happened, went down to a restaurant, a steakhouse in Utah, and was seen there, 100% verified, identified by the staff workers there, and not one single person called to follow up with any questions at all. Nobody was curious, and it just was like, no, I'm not interested, almost, it seems like. So the people, if there was a coordinated effort, they probably were going, wow, we expected to be answering a lot of questions for the things that we were associated with, and that just didn't happen. So that's very suspicious too. And you have to ask yourself why. Why are not no questions being answered? Why are no questions being asked? And what's going on? We've been duped in the past so many times since JFK and probably earlier than that, but we've never gotten the truth on this stuff. So we just want the truth. That's it. That's what people want. Nobody wants it to turn out a certain way that I know. Everyone I know just wants to know what happened, and we don't like having things crammed down our throats. So that's why. And it seems to me, Andrew, that you guys were saying that anybody that even asked questions about this was evil. And you were talking about Candace Owens at the time, and probably Baron Coleman, who have been leading the charge on this whole thing. And I've been watching them and many other podcasters and on both sides of the issue. But I don't see Candace wanting any outcome. I think she's just trying to find out what happened, which is what she always does. And Baron Coleman, same way. And speaking of Baron Coleman, he was the one that launched the video series on the Google search, the Google trend searches that happened before this whole thing went down. And so if you understand what happened with this, Andrew, since you're asking questions, look into this. You have the connections and the resources to be able to maybe get somewhere with this and find out what happened. Average normal people don't have those resources. So if you really want to get to the bottom of something, go down this rabbit hole right here. Google Trends is incredible what Barron found out. Amazing. He found people searching terms that had to do with this whole assassination before it even happened, a day before and months before. Terms that nobody would have been searching for otherwise. Not a coincidence. Maybe one would be a coincidence. But this was many, many searches of many, many different aspects of this. Buildings that were involved, people that were involved. And it turned out that somebody searched for them in the DC area, in the Huntsville, Alabama area, and in a foreign nation. All three. And you could go down this rabbit hole and say, there's just no way that this is some kind of coincidence. This is not a fluke. Somebody searched all of these terms. And Andrew, if you want to know the answer to the questions that you ask, this is a great place to start.
Telling me at 11 a.m. the day before the shooting? Now, keep in mind, Charlie Kirk was assassinated on September 10th. Someone in Washington, D.C. metro area is searching Tyler James Robinson the day before the shooting? Why?
Yeah, why?
Why? You can see clearly when the news broke. Why were they searching the day before? I go back to my notes.
It's not just this. Thank you, Barron, for that, for all the work that you've done. Amazing. It's amazing. I only hope that I can contribute as much to everything, not just this topic, but all topics in the future, as I plan on making more videos and trying to build something that's meaningful. But thank you, Barron Coleman and Candace Owens and all the rest that have done such great work on this. But this is absolutely, I don't think any way it can be some kind of a coincidence. The Google Trends thing is bigger to me than probably most everything in this, of the weird things that have happened in this investigation. So that's a good one. That's a good place to go right away if you want to start there. Another place to go would be this guy who I call cheering guy. He's the guy that right after that happened at the event stood up and just did this, like while other people are running for their lives and ducking down for cover, he's up there cheering like this, you know, USA, USA. This is crazy. If you don't think there's something there, I don't know. I know he's been investigated. I know that he's ex-military or something, and his is another rabbit hole you'd have to go down, but that might be a good place to start with his, because this guy, I don't know, that's just weird. That's a weird reaction. The same with some of the witnesses that they interviewed directly after this event. Very strange, very, very strange behavior with the witnesses, and also has been thoroughly investigated. But this cheering guy, I mean, that's just crazy. I don't know what would possess anybody to do that. Another area that I would look is the crime scene itself, Andrew. If you've looked into this, you can't tell me that it's perfectly normal. I'm not even going to get into the SD cards and all that. I'm just saying, for this to happen within 2 or 3 days after this happened, and you're going to pave over this entire area like this, and you're going to dig down 10 inches into the ground and excavate all the ground around it, and then you're going to put pavers down, you're going to put these bricks, and you're going to put these 100-pound planters all up and down here. How much more obvious in plain sight can you get that they're literally covering up the crime scene, literally covering it up? And nothing can be tested now, I don't think. Maybe you could dig all that up and try to find something underneath, but very doubtful. And where did the ground go that they dug up? too. I mean, that would be interesting to go down that rabbit hole. But that's a good one right there. I mean, you can't tell me that is normal. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, and normal people don't believe it. Unless you have a vested interest in having this trial or come out in a certain direction or a certain way, you can't tell me you're being impartial if you say, oh, this is totally normal. No, that's not normal. That's not normal at all, and it's also not normal to hear from the lead investigator of this thing, this guy right here, and when he was asked about this, his response, which I'll play for you here.
Do you know when the tent and the stuff was actually removed from the scene?
I don't. I would imagine it had been at least a couple of days, if not longer than that, before anything was removed from the scene.
You didn't have to give permission to remove the tent?
Me, personally?
Right.
No.
So you're not sure when it was removed?
No.
And were you in?
Nope. Nope. No, it's his crime scene. It's his crime scene. He didn't have to give permission. Who had to give permission? I would like to know. Who? If he's the lead investigator in this whole thing, who gives the final word? Okay, yeah, you can. Was there ever any crime tape put up? And if there was, who gave the order to take it down? And then to let them do what they did within 3 days. If not him, who? Who would have done that? He doesn't look like he cares. Now, I do understand that this is not a trial. This is not the trial. This is a preliminary hearing where they're only trying to establish, can we go to trial or not? I get that. But people are grandstanding and doing all kinds of things trying to make it look like this was actually a trial. It's not. But still, his answer bothers me a lot, and his indifference. And I don't care what the outcome is, as long as it's the right outcome, because there's two people's lives involved in this, and Charlie Kirk was one of them, obviously, and then Tyler Robinson's going to be another. Now, if he was involved in any way, which I really think he was, he needs to be punished. But did he do it all by himself? I mean, really? You can do that on grainy images? I don't care if you zoomed in this 4K video that they said that they saw. We also were assured that a group of reporters saw the Charlie Kirk video appointing his wife, Erica, as CEO. And all of them swore up and down that video, that they saw it and that it was real. And then it came out and it was totally AI, completely. And then Andrew, you came out and said, oh, we were just trolling you. Do you even realize how bad that makes you look? I mean, you want answers? Stop doing stuff like that. You want people to change their opinion of you and start seeing you as somebody serious? You should have locked arms with people like Candace in the beginning, and you should have said, let's go find out who did this, which it almost seemed like you were going to at first, and then something happened and you just stopped. So all of this is very weird and very strange. And I saw your video and I thought to myself, okay, it's time for me to get involved in this and have a say and have a voice. I've watched Benny Johnson and Megyn Kelly for years, and the first time I saw Charlie Kirk was on Megyn Kelly, and I love their content, and lots of people do, but I think you guys are, Benny and Megyn, I think they're just too close to this, and their emotions are getting the better of them, and I see it in their videos, and I'm sorry, that's just what I think I see, and I am, again, an average, normal, everyday person. This is very important, I think, what happens in this whole trial and this whole situation. It's representative of what we've been seeing for a long time, which is the government is overreaching as usual and pushing narratives down our throat and trying to get us to think something that we know for a fact is not true. And it's been a conditioning that's happened since we were our entire lives, let's just say. And I think something's got to give. Charlie was trying to make that happen. He was trying to get people to open their eyes and to ask questions. And I really, really admired him. I was a student of Charlie's. I watched all of his videos, anything I could get my hands on, because I have sons that are college age, and now they're a little bit older than that, but I was, kind of wanting to know how to talk about certain issues to my kids, and Charlie had a way of letting you know how to do that, and it was very, very helpful. Very helpful. And so I was devastated like everybody else when I found out what happened. But I mean, now we would just want to know exactly what happened and how it happened. And so forgive us and forgive me if we don't trust every single thing that comes down the line. This situation, you've got many, many, many things that don't make any sense. And I'm not a lawyer. I'm not trying to give advice. This is all my opinion. This is my opinion. This is what I see. If you guys, if Andrew, if you've been up in an ivory tower for too long and you're wondering what it's like to be normal because maybe you've been flying private a little bit too long, I'm telling you that I live a normal everyday life, and this just doesn't look right at all. To anybody that has critical thinking skills, it just doesn't look right, and your behavior doesn't look right. And I wish that we could just get to the bottom of it, and I'm going to try to be a part of that. So hopefully we'll get some answers, and I will continue to make videos, and it won't be just over Charlie Kirk. It'll be over a lot of issues. But if you like what I'm saying, and if you agree, give me a like, subscribe, throw a comment down there. I'll try to read everything and get back with you if I can. I just sincerely want to know what happened. And that's kind of what this channel is going to be about. So I do appreciate it, and I hope you come back to watch. This is JP with Truth Probe, and you have a great one. I'll see you next time. Thanks.